This is Sara with Posh Pooch Designs, and today's video I'm going to show you how to make these little coffee cup pin cushions. They make great little gifts. They're really simple to make, stuffed with polyester fiber fill, and you just stick your pins or your needles in the top. Now this is a free pattern on my blog, and I'll have that in the notes under the video so that you can find that pattern. And it's a really simple little pattern. I made these out of cotton. In today's video I'm going to be using this yellow sugar and cream cotton and this brownish variegated to make the coffee on the top. You're also going to need some sort of decoration, and I'm going to use this fun little button. You can see this one has a flower and this one has a little polymer clay button. So you can decorate it any way you want or not at all. It's totally up to you. You're also going to need some polyester fiber fill, and you can find this at any of your local craft stores. Now, something to remember, even though these are small, something that I learned is that you really need to stuff these little babies tightly. As what you'll notice is this one's sitting up just fine because it has nice tight stuffing. This one I didn't stuff as tightly, and every time I go to use it, it falls over. Well, not that time. But we need to stuff these nice and tightly. And if you're going to give them as a gift, make sure you put a few pins and needles in the top. You're also going to need your trusty H hook, and you know this is my favorite H hook. And I think that's about it, except for a pair of scissors and a needle to weave in your ends. So grab you some cotton yarn and some polyester fiber fill, and let's get started. To make our little coffee cup, we're going to begin working at the bottom. We're going to make the 2 circles, and then we're going to work up and then add the handle, and then we'll make a separate piece. We'll stuff our coffee cup, and then we'll add that piece and then stitch the top with single crochet. It's a really simple pattern, and I think you're really going to like it, and it makes a great little gift. So to begin with, starting with my yellow cotton, start with my slip knot and chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now we're going to place 9 double crochets in the 4th chain from the hook, and our first 3 chains will count as our first double crochet. So we're going to go in that 4th chain and stitch a double crochet, and then we're going to stitch 8 more so that we'll have a total of 10 double crochets. And of course this is the bottom of our coffee cup. 3, 4, 'So I've stitched 9 double crochets along with my chain 3 for a total of 10 double crochets, and we're going to join to the top of that chain with a slip stitch. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to place 1 double crochet in the same stitch as that chain 3, and then we'll place 2 double crochets in each double crochet around, and that will give us a total of 20 double crochets. 2 double crochets in each double crochet around, and this is forming the bottom of our little coffee cup. I've stitched 2 double crochets in each double crochet around, and now I'm going to join to the top of that chain 3 with a slip stitch, and we're going to be working single crochets. Now this next row we're going to be working single crochet, so we can go ahead and chain 1, but we're going to be working in the front loops only. And if you look around this edge, you'll see there's like a braid of stitches, and there's 2 loops. The front loop is always the loop that is facing you. The back loop is always the loop that is facing away. And we're going to be stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch around, only stitching in the front loops. So we'll go in just that front loop. Oops, slipped out. There we go. 1 single crochet. Now we'll go in the next front loop. 1 single crochet. And we'll do this all the way around. And what we're doing now is forming the sides of the cup. Here's our 2 rows of double crochet. You can see this little line here shows that we stitched in the front loop only. And we do that because it just gives us a better bottom to our cup to work up. And so now we're stitching this row here, stitching 1 single crochet in each stitch around, only stitching in the front loops. So we go in our front loop, pull our yarn through, yarn over, and stitch our single crochet. Only in the front loops on this row. After we stitch this row, we won't be working in the front loops anymore. This is the only row that will stitch the front loops in order to give us a nice bottom. And you can already see how I've stitched that this is standing up nicely. Front loops only. So I stitched 1 row of single crochet working in the front loops only, and now I'm going to join to that first chain 1 that we made and chain 1. And now what I want you to do is turn your work, because now we're going to be working around the outside. And what we're going to do is place 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. We're not working in front or back loops, just single crochets. And we're building up, working up the side of our coffee cup. So 1 single crochet in each single crochet around until we get back around here. So now I've stitched another row of single crochet around, and I'm going to join to that first chain 1 that we did at the beginning of the row. Whoops, doesn't want to get on my hook. There we go, and chain 1. And what we're going to do is we're going to continue going this direction, and we're going to do this for a few more rows. You can see on here, here's the first row, then the second, and then we're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 more rows of single crochet rows. And this is going to, like I said, build up the side of our coffee cup. Now you can do more rows if you want your coffee cup taller. But one thing to remember is once we stuff it, we don't want it to fall over. We want it to stay sturdy because it's going to have pins and needles in the top. A friend of mine asked me to do this pattern on a video because she was making some and didn't understand the turn row. So that's part of the reason I wanted to do it, so that you understand how that works. But also she told me that in order to give some weight into the bottom of her coffee cup, she added some old buttons that she had. And it was just some old buttons from years ago that were in her button collection. And she just added a handful of them in the bottom and then stuffed it to give it some weight. And you can do any of those kinds of things. You can add beads or buttons or anything down inside before you stuff it to add some additional weight. All right, so I did another row of single crochet. So we have done 3 rows. So we need to do 3 more. So do 3 more rows of single crochet just like we did that row to build up the sides of our coffee cup pin cushion. So we stitched up the side of our coffee cup, and it's cute, looks like a little bowl. And now we're going to add the handle, and the way we do that is we're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and we're going to join that down here and just go through one of those loops, try to line it up evenly, make a slip stitch, chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet back up the handle. So we're going to place 1 single crochet in each of those chains, and that gives us a nice sturdy looking handle. And you can even, if you're using it for a decoration, you could even hang it up with this handle. That would be really cute. Alright, so we're single crocheting right back up the handle on that chain, 1 single crochet in each chain, and then we're going to join it right there where we started with a slip stitch and tie that off. Then I'm going to go ahead and pull my string to the inside of the cup just to get it out of the way. But that needs to be, use a needle and weave that end in. So there's your cute little handle. And the next thing we need to do is make the coffee circle that goes in the top. But this is really cute as it is. You could stash buttons or coins or anything in there that you use, your tape measure maybe. Really cute, just like that. All right, let's get the coffee circle made. You ready to make some coffee? Or maybe some tea? All right, to make the little circle top that looks like coffee, we're going to make our slip knot and chain 3. 1, 2, 3. And now we're going to place 8 single crochets in the second chain from the hook. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Move that string over. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now don't panic if you have a hole in the center. I'll show you how to take care of that when we get done. So let's join to that first single crochet, chain 1. And now we're going to place 1 single crochet in the same stitch as the chain 1, and then we're going to place 2 single crochets in each of the single crochets around. So we started with 8 single crochets, and after this row we're going to have 16. Now I really like this yarn that I chose to make the coffee portion. It's sugar and cream or peaches and cream, but it's a brown variegated. Let me pull that out so you can see. It's got all 3 colors of brown in it, and I think it looks perfect for a coffee or a tea on the top of our coffee cup. Even cocoa, kind of looks like a swirling cocoa. So that would work too. Alrighty, 1 more single crochet, then we're going to join to the top of that first chain 1 and chain 1. Alright, for row 2 we're going to stitch, we're not going to stitch 1 in the same stitch as our chain 1, we're going to stitch 2 in the next stitch, and this row will be 1 single crochet in the next stitch, 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then we'll repeat that all the way around. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and the last row we're going to chain 1. We're not going to stitch 1 in that same stitch. We're going to stitch 1 in the next one, and then we're going to stitch 2 in the next single crochet. And so the pattern for this row will go 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets in the next. 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 2 single crochets in the next single crochet. So it's 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, all the way around. We're going to join and tie off. Now we've finished all 4 rows of our little coffee portion, and I tidied it up, got the ends all taken care of, but I wanted to show you what to do if you have a hole in the center. Let me just do that, get that out of the way. What you would do, you turn it over on the back side and thread your needle on that piece of yarn that you started with, your little tail. And in order to close this hole, all you need to do is stitch around through those stitches of the first row of single crochet that you made, and then gently tug on that. We're going to go around these stitches that you made, and then gently tug, and that hole will close. And then you just tie that off, and your hole will be closed. Just in case that was an issue with this particular piece. Now we've tidied that off, we've joined it together with the slip stitch, we worked in our ends, and I'm going to show you what to do. Now I've already stuffed this. Let me show you how I do it. I kind of stretch my coffee cup out, and I take little balls like this of the polyester fiber fill, and I stuff it down in the ridges of the cup so that it's nice and tight and forms the shape of the cup. Now I told you about my friend, she adds buttons. You can add buttons or rocks or beads or sand, you know, make sure it's a little sand bag or a little bead bag, not just so it can fall, you know, out the bottom, but if you want some weight in the bottom. But I have found if I just stuff it nice and tight, it works pretty good. And just going to add a little bit more stuffing because I want it nice and tight. And then we're going to place this on top of here. And what I do is I take a couple of pins and I just pin it like that and like this. Now we may not have the exact number of stitches on our circle that we have on the top of our coffee cup. We may, you know, may not be exactly lined up, but that's okay. What I like to do is make sure that I go into every one of the stitches on the top of the coffee. So I've lined everything up. I'm going to put my hook through the first 2 stitches on the coffee and the first 2 stitches on the cup, and I'm going to draw up a loop. Leave myself a little bit to tie off with. There we go. And join that with a slip stitch. And now what we're going to do is we're going to stitch a single crochet going through both thicknesses on our coffee cup all the way around. And like I said, make sure you go into every one of the single crochets on the coffee portion so that it looks neat and tidy. I'm going to go ahead and pull that needle out, stick it in my other one, or pin I should say, and just work your way around. There we go. The edge of the coffee cup. One single crochet in each single crochet around the top. Now, if you have too many stitches, you can down here you can always skip over or do an extra one depending on how it lays. But I like to make, like I said, I like to make sure that every stitch on the coffee portion is used so that it looks neat and tidy and even. There we go. And we'll just continue working this all the way around till we get back over here, and then we'll join and tie off. So you can see I stitched my edge, and by doing the single crochet around this edge, it gives your coffee cup the appearance of a rim where you can drink from. And I like the way that looks. Alright, I'm going to cut that string, tie that off, and then I'll use my needle to pull that in, but for right now I'm just going to pull it out of the way. There we go. So here's my little coffee cup pin cushion. I've stuffed it tight with polyester fiber fill. And you may need to work with it a little bit to get your shape back after getting it stuffed. And we do have a couple of strings we need to work in. Up my loose ends. I've got my coffee in my cup. Isn't that the cutest? I love this yarn. I'm going to have to go back and get some more of that because that makes a great little coffee color. It's sitting up nice and pretty. It's ready for some pins, but it needs a little bit of embellishment. And you can put buttons, ribbons, bows, you know, whatever decoration. You could even embroider a flower if you wanted to. But I'm just going to add this little button. And what I do is I just thread my needle and I line it up where I want to put my button. And I go through like this. And I just, there we go. And that keeps my yarn from coming out. Then I just put my button on like that. Place it where I want it, and I just go out the other side. Just like that. Give it a little bit of a pull. And then I'll usually just wrap that once, and wrap that once. Give it another little pull, and then clip the sides. And there's another little coffee cup pin cushion, all ready to be given away or used as yourself. So this is just a fun little project you can make for you, or any yarny or crafty person would love this, especially if they love coffee like I do. I think it's so much fun. And even if the person is not a crafty person that you wanted to give this to, it's just a cute little stuffed cup of coffee.